How do I learn? I'd say a lot of times I learn by thinking out loud. Quite a few of my teachers have said that I articulate my ideas and my thoughts quite well when I speak them out loud. I also am a very much hands-on person. Let me do something, let me work through a problem, and I end up finding myself doing quite well. I can listen to a professor, to a teacher, and did throughout high school, still through college, and I'm able to pay attention very well, take notes, stuff like that. But sometimes I do need a break from that and need to do hands-on. Now, the question is that my type of learning recognized? For the most part, maybe my talking out does help in different is helped in different areas by asking questions, allowing us to talk through things. But most of the time in class it was just maybe a lecture, something like that. So not always do I get to express myself through that way, and it seems to be just very one-sided throughout my high school experience. Also, not much hands-on, especially here at the college level, but high school actually, once we got to choose a topic, my friend and I in the class chose Blood Diamond. We had to write a paper, which I was fine with, but then our presentation could be anything we wanted to. So we researched it first, then we watched the movie Blood Diamond, which was actually very accurate to how blood diamonds are handled right now. And then from that, we were able to show a clip in class, and we made a PowerPoint off of that and the information we found. So there was kind of a balance, in a sense, between, yes, there were teachers who did help me out in that regard, hands-on, and other kids learning styles and my own, but also there weren't. So I think that teachers really need to think about that there are kids who learn in different ways than just sitting at a desk, looking at the teacher and writing down what they have to say and then leave. I'm not the only learner out there, however, so I went and asked some fellow students about their own ways of learning and if they have been met, so pay attention. So, Nikon, how do you learn as a student?
I learn best when I actually see things, so I'm actually a visual learner. I learn very well when I get to see things visually. And it really depends on the subjects, but I would prefer much to do things, hands-on things that we actually put into actions and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Have your needs been met throughout your education career as being a student?
It really depends on the teachers. Different teachers have different teaching style, but I've seen quite a progress.
Well, I learn mostly, I learn visually. I remember a lot of visual cues, like say if you're taking a test and I can remember something in the room from where I was learning it before, like you can look at something when someone's talking about something and recall it later by looking at that same visual cue. I kind of learned that way. That's been met pretty much,
Yeah.
I learn a lot visually, same as you, like looking at stuff around the room. But for me, another way that I learn is audio, just like listening to music while I'm studying. Like, it depends upon which type of music you have to be careful with, because you study with that, or you get taught with a certain type of music, and you will, if you perform with a different type, you won't remember it. But like playing classical music in a room while I study, that was meant in high school, and I did a ton better. Dad would always ask the class what they preferred, visual, audio, or just note-taking style to take it down, and that's how we went around the semesters.
Sweet. Okay, how do you guys learn?
I don't know. I am a more of like an auditory learner. I had to hear it, and that was meant more in college than in high school.
So high school, it wasn't meant very much?
No, not at all.
No?
We had to read books.
So you basically had the teacher who said, write papers, read the textbook, and then lectured every class period.
Yep.
So you were pretty bored and didn't learn as well as you could have?
Yes.
How about you? Sylvia?
What kind of learner are you?
I don't know what kind of learner I am.
Do you learn through more hearing things, writing things out, talking things out?
Writing things out and talking things out. Yeah.
I learn best when I hear it, write it, and talk. I have to do all of those to learn
I'm impressed by
Was that met in high school? Did your no? Did you have the same type of teachers as Christy did?
Kind of. I did a lot of learning, like hearing and writing, but not much speaking. We didn't have very good teachers.
Right. So if you could, would you go back and tell your teachers, hey, listen, why don't you give kids more opportunities to learn in their own way instead of the way you learn?
I probably would.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you've seen what students have to say, and basically in conclusion, there are those teachers out there who they realize students do learn in many variety of forms, and they do attend to those, but there's also most of the time a lot of those teachers out there, all they think that works is the textbook and making them write papers. It cancels out a lot of the creativity, and a lot of ways students can express themselves in ways more than just one way. So, as a future teacher, I am hoping to make sure there are a variety of ways that students can learn in my class, and not just one. I want to implement many forms of media and just anything really that helps the student learn, while at the same time not making it take over my classroom.